The balcony across the courtyard. A love story of late blooms author Shri.
Rajeev Shantalam Thatte.
In a quiet old building tucked away in Bandra, Mumbai, where the bougainvillea crept down the balconies and the pigeons knew every windowsill by name, two hearts began to stir softly, slowly, like monsoon clouds gathering above Marine Drive. Mrs. Lata Mehra, once a celebrated Kathak dancer, now spent her days tending to her tulsi plant and rereading Rabindranath Tagore. Her silver hair was always pinned neatly in a bun, and her saris still had the elegance of silk stories. She lived alone in flat 3C. Her son, Rohan, had moved to Toronto 5 years ago, promising to call every Sunday. And sometimes he did. Across the courtyard, in flat 4B lived Mr. Arvind Deshmukh. Retired railway officer, lover of crossword puzzles, and an amateur cook who made a mean poha. His daughter, Neha, worked in Singapore and often sent him gadgets he couldn't figure out how to use. He kept them anyway, proud of her success, lonely in her absence. They had lived in the same building for 20 years, exchanged pleasantries in the lift, nodded at each other during society meetings, even smiled over the occasional power cut in Mumbai sticky nights. But that was all. Until one morning, Lata was on her balcony humming an old Lata Mangeshkar tune when she saw Arvind struggling with a new smart water purifier. He looked frustrated, thumping it gently, as if hoping it would turn into a typewriter. Lata couldn't help but chuckle. It won't obey unless you whisper sweet nothings in its USB port, she called out playfully. Arvind looked up, startled, and then laughed. It was a rich, rolling laugh that hadn't escaped his lips in a long time. That was the first real conversation. Then came others. He offered to share the mangoes his brother had sent from Ratnagiri. She taught him how to make proper adrak chai with just the right kadakness. They began meeting at dusk on the benches in the garden downstairs like teenagers with bad knees and good stories. Their loneliness, which once sat like a silent lodger in their hearts, began to pack up. One evening, during Ganesh Chaturthi preparations, they were both roped into organizing the society's cultural night. Lata insisted on teaching the kids a simple dance, and Arvind hesitantly offered to narrate stories from the Ramayana. Watching him, nervous yet passionate on stage, Lata saw something boyish in him, something she wished she'd noticed years ago. One night, during a sudden Mumbai drizzle, she found him waiting outside her door, holding an umbrella and 2 cups of cutting chai. Thought you might like to watch the rain with company, he said. They sat together, watching the water sheet down the street lights, talking of old songs, forgotten movie scenes, shared grief, and half-forgotten dreams. By Diwali, they were inseparable. Neighbors noticed, of course. Whispers floated like smoke from the diya flames. They're just friends, nah? At their age, why not? Good for them, honestly. But Lata's heart was suddenly young again, giddy and unsure. One night, as they sat watching the fireworks from their shared bench, Arvind turned to her and said, "You know, Lataji, I used to think my life had peaked when I retired with my full pension. But now it feels like it's beginning again." She smiled. Her fingers brushed his. "Late blooming flowers often smell the sweetest," she replied. Months passed. Their children eventually found out. There were video calls and polite hesitations. Rohan was confused. Neha was stunned. But both slowly came around, especially when they saw the light in their parents' eyes. At 72 and 74, Lata and Arvind decided not to marry. "Too many papers to sign," Arvind joked. Instead, they made a quiet promise to have dinner together every night, to spend every Sunday in each other's homes, and to celebrate birthdays not with gifts but with songs. Sometimes, love doesn't roar in like a monsoon storm. Sometimes, it drifts in gently through an open balcony door, carried by the fragrance of mogra and the sound of shared laughter. In the quiet lanes of Mumbai, between the walls of an old building, two people proved that it's never too late for a heart to find its home.